Garbage day. No, no, no. All right.
Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays. And no matter how far away you roam, if you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can.
Welcome back to Horror for the Holidays, a Christmas horror movie podcast. I'm Jay Logsdon.
I'm Jeff Searcy.
It's been a couple weeks since we were last together. I've been in... I just got back from Vermont, and boy, are my arms tired.
Oh, wow. Dusting off that one, huh? I take my wife everywhere, but somehow she finds her way home.
I went hunting for an elf in my pajamas. How I got in my pajamas, I'll never know.
Oh.
But while I was there, I did get my good friend Jeff here some maple syrup like he asked for.
Oh, thank you. Oh, great. It's Carolina Reaper infused.
Yeah, I figured you'd get a kick out of that.
So that I can die. Thank you.
The next podcast will be recorded live from our bathroom.
As if I'm not sweaty enough.
But
well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Otherwise, it was a good trip. I think I texted you. I should have been born in Vermont. My allergies weren't acting up.
Yes.
It was fantastic.
It's good to know there's somewhere in the country where your allergies don't act up.
Right, yeah, man, that's a dream come true. Because here in Iowa right now, we're in the middle of harvest season. And
oh, my God.
Can't step outside without sneezing my brains out. But yeah, let's get into it. Today's episode, we watched the 2020 released movie Slade.
A.K.A. Barricade 2.
So let's deck the halls and set the scene for this movie. This stars Jim Clock and Mike Capozzi. It stars and it's directed by them. They all are also involved in the Christmas horror movie Massacre on Aisle 12, which looks, I don't know, maybe looks more interesting than this movie.
Yeah, I mean, the trailer made it look more interesting anyway.
And then the only other thing I had is that Jim Clock is also in Santa Jaws. So when we get to that, we'll see him again too.
Oh boy. I'm sure it'll be thrilling.
Oh, I'm so excited for Santa Jaws. Do you have anything else?
But this was supposed to be set in Arizona, right?
Yes, it was supposed to be set in Arizona.
Does this look like Arizona?
It looked a lot greener than I think Arizona's supposed to look.
I was going to say, I thought Arizona was pretty dried out.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was more...
Looked like, California.
I wasn't sure if it was California or maybe somewhere in the eastern South, like Georgia or someplace like that.
Maybe it could have been Georgia too, yeah. But no, that was the only confusing thing for me because in the synopsis it was like in a water treatment plant in Arizona.
Yeah, no, and I missed that the first time. We'll actually get into it here in our synopsis. At the beginning of the movie, there's a little there's text at the bottom of the screen on the opening scene, and it says Christmas Eve 2014, Harris County, Arizona. Mm-hmm. We get to that opening scene. We see kind of a building decorated for Christmas, some very nice looking Christmas lights, and we hear kind of sounds of like people in peril.
Yeah.
And we go to the inside and there's two women that are bloodied and strung up with Christmas lights, begging for help, while a deranged Santa Claus kind of taunts them with a knife and an axe. He says, ho, 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 reaches into his bag and grabs a chainsaw, and we get our title card that says Slade.
Ho, ho, ho.
And that ho, ho, ho comes back multiple times throughout the movie. The first time I think it's kind of normal, but they have like a weird ho, ho, ho sound effect that's more like a ho, ho, ho. Almost like the Green Giant.
Yeah, and it keeps getting more and more ridiculous as time goes on.
But I wish that had been the sound at the beginning. Like, I don't know, that sound was creepier than just the guy saying ho, ho, ho. We then cuts to 5 years later. This is maybe at least our second movie, if not our third movie, where at least a year has passed between the opening scene and the rest of the movie.
Massive time jump. Always great.
It's the exterior shots of the same water treatment plant that we saw earlier on. We are going to get a lot of exterior shots, a lot of walking shots in this movie.
Yes. I mean, honestly, they front loaded most of the action in this movie before the title card.
I wrote and then I crossed it out. That opening scene might be my favorite scene of the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, if it had been like a segment in like 13 Slaves or something, I thought it would have been pretty good. But then they made a whole movie about it.
Yeah, but we see Crandall, Mike Capozzi's character, walking around, smoking, walking places,
You
smoking
talking
some
about
more.
creepy Crandall?
Yep, old creepy Crandall.
The guy who keeps smoking and clutching his chest like he's gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah. We are then introduced to Nicole. She's sitting in a festively decorated office with Christmas music playing in the background, talking on the phone to who I think we are supposed to assume is the owner of the water treatment plant.
Yeah.
They're either talking about shutting the facility down permanently or shutting it down for the holiday season.
Yeah. I'm guessing probably shutting it down for the holiday season because of the events that occurred there before.
Yeah, and then, but yeah, it's a little unclear. But there's a line in there where she's like, "It'll be just like the last 4 years. It'll be a silent night here at the Harris County Water Treatment Plant." Then you hear the boss on the other end, "Young lady, are you making fun of what happened that night?"
Yeah.
And then she like goes back and forth with him, and like he's like, "You need to show some respect for people died." I think is literally what he says.
People died in there.
People died.
Oh heavens.
Nicole kind of gets up, goes and gets some coffee.
Just to note, Nicole is the best character in this movie by far.
I think she's great. She gets a phone call from her husband Dale, who seems to really mad.
Damn it, Dale.
And he seems to think that she's fooling around with Tom, the security guard.
Damn Tom. He's just gonna keep coming up in this movie, isn't he?
Right. Oh yeah, we keep Tom is a recurring character, even though I don't think we ever see him alive.
Tom wants to spend time with his family and save his marriage. God. What an asshole.
We get more shot. And Nicole basically says to her husband, like, "I'm the one who makes the money around here. I'll see you for dinner." And she like hangs up on him.
Yeah.
We then get more shots of Crandall walking around.
Crandall getting his steps in.
And then at one point I think Crandall and Nicole talk for a second. And then we kind of get like a camera view as though they are being watched. We're supposed to think that they're being watched. And we get that low ho 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 sound.
And Crandall walks away to check on something, and Nicole's like, "What a creep."
Yep. We then cut to Jim Clock's character, Jordan, driving in a car and listening to audio tapes of how to be an actor.
Yeah.
And
It's a shame he didn't finish it.
He shows up. He kind of walks around the office. No one is there. Goes into a room. There's like a Santa head that's like motion activated.
Yeah.
Opens the door, gets startled by it. Nicole's behind him, basically asking him what he's doing there.
A little bit of a combo jump scare.
Yeah, and he says, "Oh, I'm the security guard. I'm filling in for Tom." And Nicole kind of seems upset that Tom's not going to be there. So we're kind of once again leaning into this idea that, okay, Nicole and Tom are having an affair.
What? Security Tom?
Yeah, and so she takes off. And she asks like why he agreed to fill in on Christmas Eve, and he's like the only family I have is my brother, and he's working tonight, so I figured I might as well work tonight too. She kind of asks why he agreed to come here or something like that, and he's like, "Oh, I just moved to town.
I don't know the horrifying backstory."
Yeah, he doesn't know what happened here 5 years ago.
But yeah, I just wanted to make a note that they never call Tom the security guard. They just call him Security Tom.
Yep, Security Tom the whole time. Nicole leaves. We get more shots of people walking around.
Oh yeah, thrilling.
Jordan and Crandall meet. Crandall is very hostile to Jordan. Tells Jordan to stay inside and that bad things have happened on this land. We get another character just talks about how evil it is where they are.
It's another red herring who talks about how evil everything is constantly.
Jordan thinks he hears something. He kind of yells like, "Oh, I can hear you, I can see you," something like that off at the distance.
Yeah.
But he doesn't see who it is. I think some time passed, or no, time hasn't passed yet. Jordan is back at the office, and Nicole's husband Dale shows up, attacks Jordan,
Yes.
thinking that he's Tom.
He busts through the door like the Incredible Hulk,
Yep.
and slams him into the floor.
Demands to know where his wife is, and he's like, "Oh, she left. She went to go have dinner with her husband." And he's like, "I am her husband."
And this is going to start the pattern of Jordan being incredibly incompetent at being a security guard.
Yeah, and so, and then Jordan says, "Well, maybe she's at Tom's house." and he's like, "What?" And he runs out.
Motherfucker.
He runs out to go find her, and he hears a scream. Dale hears a scream, thinking it's Nicole. He kind of goes off to follow it, and he rounds a corner and gets an axe to the stomach.
Which again, don't get excited because it's not going to keep happening.
We then get some time passes. We get kind of an overhead shot or not an overhead shot, but like kind of a roof shot of the building as the clouds go by and the sun starts to set.
Yeah.
Crandall informs Jordan that a girl in town went missing. We get some shots of like this woman going through her house, and the Santa's like inside, kidnaps her, and Crandall says something about, this is just like what happened 5 years ago. This is just like the hair, And Jordan says, "Oh, what happened 5 years ago?" And he's like, "You've never heard of the Harris County Massacre?"
Yeah.
And then I maybe kind of implies what happened.
You idiot. Let me
And-
tell you what happened.
And then Crandall basically tells like Jordan to stay inside, or he's like, "Go home," and he's like, "I can't, I'm working." And then Crandall's like, "Well, then stay inside.
I'm going to get this son of a bitch.
Evil is coming tonight."
Let me go ready all my various weapons I have hidden around the water treatment plant.
Crandall goes and gets his gun, and then we see him walking around the water treatment plant, like finding knives and wrenches and like putting them places so he has them nearby for when evil arrives.
Which is going to be hilarious later when he chooses a knife to cut Nicole loose with, and he gives it to her, and it's like a little kitchen knife, and he's got all these things hidden around.
Yeah. We even see like a massive hunting knife, and he gives her like a little paring knife. Oh, and at one point, Crandall walks past a newspaper article from the Harris County Gazette that says "Santa's sleigh, Santa-clad killer slaughters 5." And my first thought was, why reference a better movie? I could have been watching Santa's Sleigh instead of Slade.
Could have been watching Bill Goldberg take people apart.
Could have been watching my favorite actor of all time, one Mr. Corky Romano. Corky Romano himself. Get killed in the opening scene of Santa's Sleigh. Crandall and Jordan are I think talking maybe in the office. They hear a woman scream. There's a bit of physical comedy where Jordan trips and like lands right in front of her.
Oh, boy.
And they scream at each other.
Ah.
They cut her free. That's Heather, the woman who was kidnapped earlier.
And then this part made me like almost lose it. Crandall just starts randomly wading out like into the pond.
They hear a crash in the water.
And he's like, I'll just go ahead and just start walking out into there with his gun in his hand, mind you.
Heather keeps saying like the killer said something to her, and Jordan asks what it is, and like she just kind of stares at Jordan blankly. At first I thought like, okay, something's wrong with the script. That actually, I thought that was a neat bit of foreshadowing later on in the movie. But it turns out the killer said "Ho ho ho, Merry Christmas," which is, I think, kind of what's implied. Once again, this is a repeat of what happened 5 years ago.
Yeah.
They now go back to the superly festively adorned office, and Crandall tells Jordan and Heather to bunker down and gives Jordan a coffee pot to defend himself with.
Yeah, of all the weapons they have stashed around, that'll work best.
Because Crandall's got the only gun.
You smash this over his head if he comes in here.
I think real fast going back, when Dale went into the office and was looking for Nicole, he walked into the same room with the motion activated Santa.
Yeah.
The third time, we see Crandall open that door, and the Santa head isn't there.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was a nice bit of continuity. Because that pays off later.
That does pay off, and this is the point where Nicole is like, "Let's call 911."
Heather says, "Let's call." 911.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Nicole hasn't been found yet. Yeah, Heather says, "Let's call 911," and then Crandall's like, "Nah, he's mine."
Yep. And so Crandall sends Jordan and Heather home. Says he's going to make the killer pay for what happened 5 years earlier, and then Jordan and Heather can't leave because the front gate is locked.
Well, I mean, they could have easily gotten out, but we'll find out why they didn't actually leave later.
And Crandall, I think, goes out to investigate, leaving leaving Heather alone in the car.
Yeah.
I think I counted he abandons her four or five separate times throughout the movie.
I mean, when you're watching it for the first time, you're like, oh, this guy is so incompetent. But then when you find out later, you'll see why.
Crandall finds Nicole still alive, kind of wrapped up like a Christmas present. Crandall basically decides he's going to leave Nicole as bait, saying he'll come back for his gift. It's not 12:01. He's going to come back for his gift. Jordan goes into the office to get the keys, once again leaving Heather alone in the car. This is the second time he's left her alone. When he's looking for the keys, he found like a sexy pair of lingerie.
Yeah.
And so once again leading into this idea that Nicole and Security Tom are getting busy.
What? Security Tom's getting it on.
While Jordan is in the office and Heather's in the car, she sees someone like walking up like at the edge of the headlights that looks really injured.
Yeah.
Kind of walk by. And she kind of like gets out to take a look at him, and when she closes the door again, the killer Santa's behind her. Mm. And then in a scene very reminiscent of like Scream, and certainly like the Boy Meets World Scream parody episode, and I don't know, Scooby-Doo, we see like Jordan walk in one door and the killer Santa walks through the hallway behind him, and then like Jordan walks out of the building and the killer Santa walks back through the building.
I'm almost thinking that it has to be intentional.
It was too good to not be intentional. I really liked that. Jordan goes back, finds Heather. She explains that she saw the injured man. They say they've got to go look for him.
Which, pro tip, if you want to survive a situation like this, you do not need to go look for him.
Yep. Jordan and Heather find Dale's dead body. She says that's not the person she saw. Jordan then abandons Heather for a third time to go investigate.
It's weird. It's almost like he's trying to get her killed or something.
And then Crandall hears a noise. He hears like, he goes to kind of investigate what it is, leaving his post. And he finds like a shattered tray of Christmas cookies. I think the killer Santa went into the office and maybe like started eating some Christmas cookies.
Yeah.
And he shattered the tray of Christmas cookies. And Crandall goes back upstairs to free Nicole, and we see the killer Santa look out from like a corner of the building.
This marks the beginning of Crandall's nonstop walkathon until the end of the movie.
Right. Jordan comes back to find Heather, and they run to the front gate. Jordan then abandons Heather for a fourth time.
Yeah.
Because I think he hears Nicole screaming, or he hears Crandall, or he hears them scream. Yeah. Or he hears Nicole screaming for Crandall that the killer is on the roof.
Yeah.
So he runs off to find her, and we see Heather get attacked.
Of course, when she's like, "The killer's on the roof," it pans up to him, and we get another ho ho ho.
Yeah. And Crandall runs off yelling, "He needs my help." Crandall shoots at goes up to the roof, shoots at the motion activated Santa toy that we saw earlier. So kind of a nice payoff of that.
Which I was wondering if that was an intentional thing, where maybe because he's like, he needs my help. He doesn't specify which one of them needs help.
I noticed that as well. Yeah, he said he needs my help, and as we learn later, he doesn't mean Crandall.
Yeah.
The Heather gets attacked by the Santa. Jordan and Nicole then find Tom's body.
Yeah.
And he's been gutted. Nicole kind of takes off for the front gate, and Jordan chases after her. Meanwhile, Crandall finds Heather strung up with lights. Heather then reveals that Jordan is the killer. They have the same eyes, so that kind of explains why earlier in the movie she was like afraid of him, like she didn't want to talk. She looked really confused. There was like I kind of called that moment out. She kind of stared at him and seemed really kind of confused about him and talking to him, and that kind of paid off later.
Yeah. And it also instantly explained why he was so incompetent, why he didn't want them to leave, why he kept leaving her alone so that his brother could grab him.
Yep. Well, we don't know that it's his brother yet. Right now we just think it's him.
Well, and shortly we'll find out. Because this after they reveal that's when it flips to him holding up Nicole at the gate, right?
Yeah, and then he punches her out, knocks her out. And when Crandall goes to free Heather, she gets shot in the face with a crossbow.
Which not the first time that's happened in one of these movies.
Right? Yeah, we're hitting all the hits. The only thing we don't get is someone getting their brain bashed in with a rock. But yeah, while that's going on, Jordan kind of reveals that, we kind of get this I think while Heather's kind of revealing that, Jordan knocks Nicole out. When she comes to, Crandall's kind of taunting her.
Yeah.
And then or Jordan's kind of taunting her, not Crandall. Crandall finds Nicole, once again strung up, wrapped around a pole with Christmas lights, and the killer Santa comes up behind her, slits her throat.
Yeah.
Crandall chases after the Santa, has him cornered, and the Santa kind of starts backing up to him. Crandall's got his gun, and Crandall kind of turns around because his gun doesn't fire. He turns around and gets hit in the face with a pipe by Jordan. We now know, okay, the Santa and Jordan are two different people.
Yeah.
Crandall comes to, they have a talk. Jordan's talking about how he wants to be an actor.
Yeah.
And I think he asks like if his performance was convincing. He's like, would you say it's Oscar worthy? Would you say it's Emmy worthy? Would you say it's I forget what the guild, the Screen Actors Guild Awards. He's like, is it a SAG award worthy? That's my favorite.
I mean, it might be Golden Globe worthy.
And then he also at one point like talks about his acting, and he's like I'm no Jack. He's like, oh man, he's great. You ever seen that movie with him and the Sandman in it? Of like anger management.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, they're both great in that. I'm sure they're fine. He also mentions that he likes Morgan Freeman, Denzel Washington, and Keanu.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because Keanu belongs in that league.
Well, I think one of the few big budget productions Jim Clock has been in is a movie with Keanu.
Yeah.
So I think that's a little call out to that.
Don't get me wrong, Keanu Reeves is fine. He's a great guy, but I don't think he's as good of an actor as those other guys.
Right. But yeah, Jordan reveals that Santa is his twin brother Nick, and that Crandall is Nick's present for what Crandall did to Nick 5 years ago.
So that's why. So it turns out Crandall was not having a heart attack from smoking too much. He was injured before in the last massacre.
Yep. Yeah, he got injured. He got injured previously. Jordan says he's going to leave Nick alone to play with his toys.
Yeah.
And so Jordan leaves. Nick gets out a Sawzall and is getting ready to cut into Crandall, and Crandall's kind of able to escape.
Yeah.
And then we get like Jordan saying something like he's lighting up a cigarette and staring at like the lake, and he's like, I can feel it. 2020 is going to be the best year ever.
Yeah.
And then gets shot in the back with a shotgun.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
By the escaped Crandall. We think, okay, the movie's over. And then one last twist, Crandall turns around and gets stabbed in the gut with a knife by Nick.
Yeah.
And then while the credits are rolling, Nick wades into the water, pulls Jordan out of the water, and Jordan kind of starts coughing up blood. So we know, oh, they both escaped, kind of setting up that they could do a sequel.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll do a sequel, but that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it. Short movie, and I think it was only about 80 minutes long.
Yeah. It's definitely, I think it suffered from a lack of budget as far as the length went.
So did you have any favorite quotes, anything for the Christmas carols section, Jeff? For our minutia?
Well, I just like the fact, it's not really a quote, but the fact that multiple people refer to Crandall as Creepy Crandall. And that
and Security
Tom.
Tom.
Yes, people just say Security Tom, like that's his first name and not a job description.
I have a couple here. Heather and Jordan. Heather's first. You're the goddamn gate guard. How do you not have any keys? Jordan, it's my first night. I think we can all relate to that. I think we've all been there where we're like, it's my first day. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
No, you're not. Or Crandall says to Heather at one point, no, you're not stupid. No, you're not. You're not stupid. He's stupid.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Jordan says to Nicole, I can't blame the guy if he was married to a lying bitch. I'd kill you too. I can't blame the guy if I was married to a lying bitch. I'd kill you too.
Yeah.
Jordan to Security Tom's mutilated corpse. He says, you're a naughty fucker, Tom. And then there was right at the end of the movie, Crandall screams, and Jordan goes, it's beginning to sound a lot like Christmas.
Yeah. That one, I do remember that one.
I think there was also one, I thought maybe you jotted it down. That's why I didn't grab it, but there's on the audio tape, there's a thing where it's like, giraffes eat, they sleep, they make love, but at the end of the day, they're still just a giraffe, or something like that.
Let me go ahead and pull that up. I think I got that. I did note that down.
But I thought that one was really fun. I was like, I think Jeff grabbed that one, but I wasn't sure.
We're still just a giraffe. At the end of the day, a giraffe is just... Yep, that's what I put. At the end of the day, a giraffe is just a giraffe.
But yeah, that was it for Christmas carols, for quotes that we...
Other than that quote at the end there, which I was thinking might have gone one way, but ended up going another way. I'm going to leave my brother alone to play with his toys. It's like, oh, thank God.
So let's move on to Christmas sweater, costumes, costuming decisions, things like that you liked.
Well, Creepy Crandall was definitely dressed like a creep. I'll give him that.
Kind of had a creepy mustache.
Yeah.
I thought the Santa costume was cool.
Yeah, it was. I liked. Yeah, I'd say it was like mid tier for me.
Yeah, like I think I've seen worse Killer Santa costumes in some of these movies. I think I've certainly seen better, but and it looked all right.
It got the job done.
And you know the effects were really good. I thought like the effects for like the people who'd been murdered. The shot where Heather gets shot with the crossbow, I thought that looked really cool, and like their blood effects, their guts effects, all looked really solid.
And I think this it benefits a lot from having a lot of the kills being done off screen and then being able to set the scene up.
Yep, but everything looked really solid. And getting into kills, we'll get into Holiday Spirit. How Christmassy is the movie? How Christmassy are the kills?
The movie's pretty Christmassy.
Yeah, I agree. I thought there were Christmas lights in just about every scene.
They mentioned Christmas and the holiday season
multiple times. There's that Santa. There's that motion activated Santa head. There's Christmas lights everywhere. For a building where there was a Christmas massacre 5 years ago,
they do have a lot of Christmas decorations.
They decorate a lot for Christmas, which is very different from, say, My Bloody Valentine, where the miners were trapped in the town on Valentine's Day, and the town doesn't celebrate Valentine's Day now because of that.
Right.
Like, this is, a massacre happened, but we're still going to set up and decorate stuff for Christmas. And the guy was dressed as Santa Claus. Now we're still going to have Santa stuff all over the place.
I know, right? You think they'd be like, no, let's just skip that one.
And the kill's not that Christmassy, but just about every person that was killed was either wrapped up in a bow, wrapped up in Christmas lights, like strung up in Christmas lights, something to kind of make even kind of those feel very festive. There would be scenes where like someone would round a corner and Nicole's wrapped around a pole and she's not tied to the pole with rope, she's tied to the pole with Christmas lights. It looks really cool.
No, they definitely made sure that it seemed like it was set at Christmas for a reason.
Yeah, there were decorations everywhere. The kills, and all the kill effects looked really good.
Yeah. I mean, considering this movie probably had next to no budget, I'd say they did a pretty good job.
And I think also having that very small cast helped. There were 5 people maybe in the movie total, 6.
Yeah,
basically. But they all did a good job with what they did.
And obviously they got like a permit to film at this water treatment plant, and they made the most of that.
So let's get into our rating system.
I have one thing to mention first. Was I hallucinating, or does Killer Santa moonwalk at one point?
Oh yeah, when Crandall has the gun pointed at him, the Killer Santa just starts like walking backwards towards him, and Crandall like pulls the trigger, and his gun doesn't work, and that's when he turns around and gets banged in the head with Jordan. But yeah, Santa's kind of moonwalking.
So yes, Killer Santa moonwalks towards one of his victims.
He thinks he's moonwalking, but he's really just walking backwards. So with that, let's get into our rating. We rate these movies on one of 3 categories. Are they seasonally scary? Are they ho 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 hilarious? Or are they you'll be sorry? Jeff, why don't you kick us off?
I'm gonna go you'll be sorry on this one. Just because there are good things in this movie, and clearly somebody put a lot of work into this movie, like effects wise, and the story is not bad, but there are long stretches where we basically just see Crandall walking through this building, and it just made me bored.
I actually, if you look on my note sheet here, I wrote seasonally scary and I crossed it out and put ho 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 hilarious. And honestly, I probably could have wrote you'll be sorry and crossed that out at some point as well. I was dreading rewatching the movie. I was not looking forward to it because we both felt pretty bored watching the movie overall. It was nowhere near as bad as Barricade.
No, it's no Barricade.
But I was bored. But I actually had more fun on the rewatch. There's some fun dialogue, some fun comedy. You know, expecting Jordan to fight off the Killer Santa with a coffee pot, I thought was really funny.
No, it's like there are some good moments in it, and it's like I wouldn't say don't watch it. I'm just saying prepare to be bored when you do watch it.
But they do great effects, or they do great with the effects. Like we mentioned, like all the kills look really cool. They look really gory. They're not over the top, you know, and we're not seeing someone get cut in half or anything like that. Like we don't see the person actually get, you know, cut in half with the chainsaw, but you know, the implied gore and then what we see all looks really, really solid. And I must say, like you said, like the story is okay. But I must say, I thought these guys, to their credit, they can compose a shot like no other. There are some beautifully composed shots.
Oh no, yeah.
Like their shot composition is fantastic. Like there's this scene where we first get the motion activated Santa head. There's a great shot of like Jordan walking through a door and it looks good. Like their continuity coordinator on set did a great job. There are so many things in this movie where I thought they did really, really well.
Yeah. No, I think that exposes one of the weaknesses of our rating system, just having the 3 tiers. Because honestly, I think this falls somewhere between You'll Be Sorry and Ho Ho Hilarious for me, but we really don't have a category for that.
Yeah, you've got to have one or the, you know, it's our rules, so we got to keep playing by them.
Yep.
But yeah, I think there's a way to, this is somewhere in between kind of the 3 categories, but you got to pick one, and I'm gonna have to hold your feet to the fire.
Yep.
And then the last thing is, I think, like I said, I think you could put it anywhere in our ranking system, and it would fit. And you kind of mentioned this earlier, like there's a lot of shots of people walking. This would have been great as like a short film, like a 30-minute short film, 40-minute short film.
Yeah, I think a tight 30 minutes would have made this, like, honestly, it could have been seasonally scary at that point.
And there's a couple or you know, either a short film to upload to YouTube, or I mean, with the quality of some of the effects and with the quality of some of the work, you know, this could have been an anthology on something like on an episode of Twilight Zone or an episode of Monsters or what have you.
I mean, honestly, if the team behind this obviously knows how to make a good movie, I think if they had just had a story that could have fit this length, they could have done better, or just cut it up into like do an hour-and-a-half feature, but do 3 stories.
Yeah, but yeah, like I liked it a lot. But yeah, it's the flaw in our ranking system, but we're not going to change it.
Nope.
And so
that's why it's got to be You'll Be Sorry for me.
With that decided, Jeff, where do you want to put Nick and Jordan on the naughty list?
Well, obviously they're no Wolf of Snow Hollow.
I don't think they're the Wolf of Snow Hollow. I don't think they're as bad as the bar patrons in 13 Sleighs, but I think they're probably better than...
They're definitely a more competent Killer Santa duo than the ones that we've got on this list already.
Yeah, than To All a Good Night. So I would put them below the patrons, but above To All a Good Night.
Yes, above Brooklyn Santa, below the bar patrons.
All right, I think that's a good place for them. And so, rounding out the episode, this is going to be a tight episode. Rounding out the episode, we'll do what we always do, clean out our email inbox in a segment we like to call...
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
And this email today comes from Jay Logston.
Oh,
Hi,
God.
Jay Logston. That movie was really something, wasn't it? It sure was. With the spooky season now in full swing, how about you and Jeff sample some seasonal treats and review them on the air? Well, I think that's a great idea, Jay Logston, so we're going to do just that.
Oh, well. I don't know who this Jay Logston guy is, but... Oh, no, never mind. Those look okay.
All right, so what do we got here? I know you're not a drinker, but I grabbed myself a can of All Hallows Treat Imperial Chocolate Peanut Butter Stout.
I will try it.
Okay. I got us a pack of pumpkin spice flavored Oreos.
I bet those are probably pretty good.
I got us each one of the new Mountain Dew Voodoos. I've already tried one of these.
Oh, thank you, sir.
But so I'll have my theory on what it is, because those are mystery flavored. I got us a pack of Skittles Shriekers, where some of the flavors are good and some of the flavors are bad. And then I also got us a bag of M&M Mad Scientist mix, which is one of my favorite things to do when I was younger. Was I would love to get a bag of holiday colored M&Ms, fall colored M&Ms. So they would be brown, yellow, and orange.
Right.
And I would love to mix them together with Reese's Pieces. And so you wouldn't know which flavor was which. And this is kind of that. These are not brown, yellow, and orange. They're kind of more monster flavored, red, like green and purple. But they are milk chocolate, peanut butter, and peanut, like all mixed together in one kind of package.
That's cool.
So I figured we could try some of these, pass them around, and decide what we think, and
Sounds good to me.
talk about it and try to eat off air, and we'll try to vamp while the other person's eating. So I don't know what you want to try first.
I'll go ahead and try these Skittles first.
All right, Jeff's gonna open up those Skittle Shriekers. I'm gonna crack open this Mountain Dew Voodoo. Oh yeah, that's some good audio work there. So I just took a drink of the Mountain Dew Voodoo, and so it's I don't know if you've had this before, Jeff, or if our listeners have had this before, but it's a mystery flavor every year. You don't know what the flavor is supposed to be. My first thought early on was I thought, oh, maybe it's grapefruit, but the more I drank it, I thought maybe sour gummy worms. So when you try it, let me know what you think.
I have never tried one before.
Like I want to say in previous years, maybe they've done like cotton candy, kind of stuff like that. And I want to say they maybe bring flavors back a couple times. But this is the 2020 edition. But I thought it kind of tasted like sour gummy worms. That was kind of the flavor I decided on by the end of it. I'm gonna try a couple of these Skittle Shriekers.
I got 3 good Skittles, awesome Skittles flavor, and one that tasted absolutely terrible.
All right, that's what it's supposed to be. Some of these are supposed to taste really, really bad. I think I just got one.
So, I mean, 5 out of 5 would terrible again.
Oh man, yeah, I think that one I just had was really bad. I don't even know what the flavors are normally supposed to be. I'm gonna read the back. Oh, and I just spilled a bunch. I'm a clumsy fuck. So they're rattled raspberry, ghoulish green apple, spine-tingling tangerine, citrus scream, and shocking lime. But I think then maybe some of them are supposed to taste gross.
Yeah, one of them tasted very gross. I'm gonna have to agree with you. This is some kind of like sour gummy worm flavored.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really good.
Maybe like Sour Patch Kids flavor.
Yeah, but yeah, really, I like.
But it is good, yeah.
Like that, whatever last year's, maybe it was Dreamsicle. There was one that kind of tasted Dreamsicle maybe a year or two ago. Was not a fan, but I would get this one again.
Yeah. No, I like it. Cool bottle design, too.
Jeff is opening the Mad Scientist M&M mix.
Let's see if it comically explodes all over me.
That would remind me of the time in college. This guy in my hall, Rezak, ran into my friend Hoffman's room. And he just stood there for a second, and we just kind of all turned and looked at him, and we're like, "What's up, Rezak?" And he went, "Hey, look, candy!" And he grabbed 2 ends of his box of M&M, or his package of M&Ms, opened them up so they flew up into the air, and then he just left Hoffman's room. And it was the funniest thing I may have ever seen in my life. Sorry, trying to eat off air here. Don't want to bother people with misophonia. But yeah, the Skittle Shriekers, the regular flavors are really, really good. I think I got a gross flavor in there.
Yeah, the good are good and the gross are gross.
Yep.
So you get what it says on the package.
Yep. But yeah, what do you think of those M&M Mad Scientist mix?
I like it. Yeah, it does. It's basically what I used to do with my Halloween candy. I'd mix it together. I'll have to tell my mom about this because she loves all 3 flavors of M&M's. So she can get them all in one bag. That'd be great. But yeah, I would say pretty good.
Yeah, I think they're really tasty.
So Skittles good, Mountain Dew Voodoo good, M&M's good.
Yeah, the M&Ms are fantastic. I'll crack open this beer.
Whoever this mad scientist is, he did a good job.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat a couple more of these M&Ms before I start. Yeah, I'll crack open this beer, and Jeff and I will get a drink of it here in a second. It smells very hoppy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can smell it already.
This is All Hallows Treat from Ommegang. Ommegang. I don't know. I thought it sounded interesting. And I wanted a pumpkin beer or a Halloween kind of themed beer, and I couldn't find the ones that were in stock at my local grocery store were not ones that I've been fans of in the past, and so I decided to try this one out, which is not pumpkin flavored, but I like the Blue Moon Harvest Moon. I don't know if they make that anymore, but that one was my favorite.
Really cool design on the can.
Yeah, it got a bunch of ghosts and zombies. Like, very cool design.
That's how alcohol always gets me. The bottles always look so inviting, and then the taste is always so terrible.
You know, I never got to try. There was one when I was in college. Jekyll and Hyde. It was 2 different bottles, and the bottles like fit together. And I never got to try that, but I was always intrigued because the bottle design was so cool.
Well, I'll just go ahead and read this description out for you guys before I try this.
All right.
Sweet and spooky like the perfect Halloween night. All Hallows treat rekindles your favorite childhood holiday memories. Aromas and flavors of dark chocolate, creamy peanut butter, and a soft vanilla finish swirl with a smooth body and a medium mouthfeel. Whatever the hell that means.
Delectable mouthfeel.
It's the perfect throwback that brings you to your first bite of a chocolate peanut butter cup. Chocolate, peanut butter, yum. Spooky ghost 3 bats. Oh, I wasn't supposed to read that part, sorry.
But I just took a sip of it. Honestly, not bad. I liked it quite a bit.
All right, here we go.
I know you're not. I know, like I said, I know you're not as much of an alcohol guy as I am.
Judge my facial reaction.
All right, I'm gonna explain this. All right, Jeff just took a swig. He did not appear to be a fan of it. I mean, he's going back for a second drink.
Honestly, for someone who doesn't drink alcohol, not that bad.
No, I thought it was pretty tasty. There's a local brewery here called Barntown, and they to me that seemed very much that Barntown does a lot of dessert beers, and that seemed like a very reminiscent of those, which I like those a lot, and that's the best way I can do to get my wife, who's also not a beer drinker, to try.
Well, honestly, as far as beers go, I'd say it's probably the best one I've had because, well, one, I haven't tried a lot, but 2, they always have this long list of flavors that you're going to taste, and it always just tastes like sewer water. And this, I could actually taste the chocolate and the peanut butter.
Yep, no, I agreed. I went in expecting a lot more of a bitter flavor, especially it being a stout. Although I'm a stout fan, some of the stouts I've had in the past, you're never quite sure, especially because this is Imperial Stout. But it was not bad. The last thing Jeff's opening up here, Jeff just opened the pumpkin pie Oreos.
They are delicious.
Yep, I had also tried these earlier. Some of these I waited for Jeff, and some of these my family would not let me keep hidden. So this is actually the second box of second container of pumpkin spice Oreos that we've got, but I think they are fantastic.
Oh, really good. So no, I mean everything we've tried has been pretty good. Yeah, even not a beer drinker, but I mean I'd probably finish it.
And I wanted to get stuff that was also like kind of more flavored towards the season. I didn't want to get Hostess Cupcakes does orange topped cupcakes. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to do that because like that's not a different flavor. That's just a cupcake with an orange color.
Yeah, just change the frosting.
We could have done. We still might try the monster cereals on the air. We might do that later on. But I didn't want to get like Reese's Bats. Even though I like Reese's Bats, I also like Reese's Puffs for cereal. But I didn't want to get Reese's Bats because I was like, they're just Reese's Puffs that are bat shaped. So I wanted to get stuff that was at least a little bit more flavored for the season. Even the M&Ms being kind of a mix of different things. That's the closest we got to kind of a standard thing that's just a different color.
No, these are definitely uniquely Halloween.
But yeah, these pumpkin spice Oreos. These are top tier Oreo. I would put them right with the. Did you try the gingerbread peppermint Oreos?
Yes, they were good.
Yeah, like I would put these right with those for kind of a top tier Oreo.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Oreo seasonal flavors I think they've been getting better over the last few years, and I like that they went with golden Oreos for this one because I love golden Oreos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. the first couple times I saw golden Oreos, I wasn't sure, but I think golden Oreos might honestly be better than plain chocolate Oreos.
Yeah, if I have my choice, I always go golden.
But other than that, do we want to put these? Do you want to do your personal ranking for these?
Sure.
Starting at what do we have? 5 things starting at 5 and going to 1.
Number 1. We want to start from the bottom or the top?
Let's start from the bottom.
Okay. My least favorite thing would probably be the least unique thing, the Mad Scientist mix.
Yeah, I agree. It's a neat concept, and I'm glad M&Ms do it, but do it year round. It's a neat little thing.
So M&Ms are never not good, but they're also just M&Ms.
Right. No, I kind of agree with you there. Honestly, I was surprised you didn't say the beer was your least favorite thing.
No, I'm gonna put the beer as my next least favorite because I'm not that big of an alcohol fan, but I mean it was more uniquely Halloween than the M&Ms were, and honestly, it doesn't taste bad.
I was gonna put probably the Skittles Shriekers next because there are really gross flavors in there. But while there are some good flavors, there's also like I don't want to be weird as it is. I don't want to be tricked at trick or treat season. I only want to be treated. Number 3.
Well, see, that's why I'm putting the Skittles at number 3 because I appreciate that Skittles actually had the balls to make one of the flavors nasty, like it claims on the package. Because usually you get these like you remember those Harry Potter like every flavor beans where you get them and the gross flavors would just be like slightly off or whatever. Like the dirt and grass would still be edible. No, these are like this one you want to like spit it out when you bite into it.
I think. Sorry, I went back for the Oreo. I think in the past that they've dubbed them like zombie flavors.
Okay.
And I think they might have toned it down a little bit because like I did think like the gross flavor was like garbage in previous years, and it's not that bad, but it's still pretty gross.
It's noticeably I mean, in comparison to the other ones, you could definitely tell a difference. Which I appreciate that they don't all. There's not just ones like, oh, this one's got some cinnamon in it, so it makes your mouth tingle.
Mm-hmm. My number 3 is probably the beer. I like it a lot, and nothing here is bad. Yeah, kind of middle of the road, and just the other 2 things are so good. It's a toss up between the Mountain Dew and the pumpkin spice Oreo for me.
My solid number 2 is the Mountain Dew. I mean, it's good, but it's not as good as the Oreos.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I did go back for the Oreo while we were talking, so that's probably more indicative than anything else that the Oreo is probably number 1, and the Voodoo Mountain Dew is number 2.
But I mean, both solid choices.
And you know what? Let nobody say that here at Horror for the Holidays we don't also indulge in spooky season stuff.
Yes.
We like Halloween just as much as the next guy, even though we are strictly Christmas horror movie based at the moment. Strictly until we inevitably wind up talking about Halloween-based horror movies.
Until we decide to do something else. I don't know. Probably in around 45 days.
Yeah, right around there. I'm sure we'll wind up talking about some Halloween movie.
Yeah,
whether it's Halloween Ends or something else.
Because I mean, we are horror for the holidays. We're not horror for Christmas.
True, exactly. And so yeah, there's multiple holidays. Even though our remit is Christmas horror movies, yes. we'll kind of talk about anything. And Jeff and I both get in the mood at fall time. Mm-hmm. I went and got a pumpkin spice latte and indulged my inner white girl. And I wish I could remind myself every year that I don't like it, but every year I go and get one and I try it again and I go, yeah, that's fine.
Did you get it from Starbucks?
I did get it from Starbucks.
You should get the one from Quick Trip.
Okay.
It's better.
Okay. Oh, yeah. QT.
Yes. Iowa Quick Trip, not Wisconsin Quick Trip.
Go Pack Go.
Which, I just as a note, Wisconsin Quick Trip is superior Quick Trip, but in this case, the Quick Trip around here has a better pumpkin spice latte than Starbucks.
Speaking of gas station-based coffees, and kind of on the subject that we were on, I've not tried it, but I've heard, I believe the 7-Eleven blueberry coffee tastes like old blueberry.
Ah, okay.
We don't have a 7-Eleven. I think the closest 7-Eleven to us is maybe in Chicago.
Maybe, or there might be one, like down in Missouri towards the
St. Louis area.
Yeah, that corner.
But yeah, that's the. But my understanding, heck, maybe Jeff and I will take a road trip just to try the blueberry coffee at 7-Eleven and report back on whether it tastes like blueberries or not.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
But yeah, otherwise, that's our garbage day segment for this week. This is the best one we've had so far.
Oh yeah,
And it was an email from me to me.
I know, it's weird.
But if you would like to get involved in our garbage day segment, send us an email at horrorfortheholidays@gmail.com. Get in touch with us via our social media. We can be found at horror4holidays on both Twitter and TikTok. I'm probably due to make a TikTok video here at some point again soon. We'll probably try to get that for Instagram here soon too.
Might as well.
So we can be gramming like everyone else.
And you can always drop us a comment on the audio backups that are on our YouTube channel, just Horror for the Holidays.
Yep, give us a like, subscribe, hit the bell over at YouTube so you get an update when our new videos are about to go live.
Yeah, because just subscribing to something, obviously you don't want notifications when that comes out.
Yeah, and then certainly subscribe on your favorite podcatcher of choice. Give us a 5 stars, leave us a review. Everything helps grow the show. Tell a friend who you think might like this about it. I know Jeff and I talk about this to people we know, but if you listen and you have a friend that you think might like a podcast about Christmas horror movies, tell them to check it out.
Yep.
But other than that, we'll see you again in 2 weeks for another movie, and we'll tackle that then, I guess.
Yes, we will.
All right, well, have a good 2 weeks, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.